Hi everyone, welcome to Boarding School with Brandy. I'm Brandy, and today I'm doing a quick playthrough of the 1 to 6 player game, Hadrian's Wall. The very first thing I'm going to do is make sure that I'm defended against any attacks for this year. I know for sure I'm going to draw one card, so I want to make sure that I have one space in each cohort filled. That way, no matter what, each of them are defended. So I'm going to turn in one of my black workers here and fill in this space. That allows me to fill in one space on a cohort track. Remember, these are tracks, so we're filling in left to right. I'm just going to start on the left one because at this point it doesn't matter where I start. I'm going to turn in my second black worker and fill in this space. It gives me a discipline, so I will fill that in on my discipline attribute track. Now, if I want to keep going to try to get some more icons to fill in some spaces on my cohorts, I'm going to need to spin blue workers on the training ground to gain sword icons, or try to spin some civilians over here to gain black workers to get there. So we are going to put that on the back burner for now and start working on filling in our fort, since we won't be able to do anything on our wall or sippy until that's filled in. So here's our first blue worker, and we'll get him turned in and fill in that first spot of our fort. Since we just filled in this spot next to the orange one, we could also build our medium granary. I'm not going to do that yet because we still have a while to go until we need to build that medium granary. I'm going to use my second blue worker at the training grounds because it's going to get me this cohort space right away. So when you use your blue worker on the training grounds, you get the sword icon, and remember we have to put the year on this number spot because we can only do this training once per year, and that sword icon allows us to fill in the next wall guard section. So color that in, signifying that you've used it, and then go up here and color this in, and I'll go ahead and take one space in the center cohort, and now 2 of my cohorts are defended, and I just need to worry about my right cohort. Now what do we have left? We have 3 resources, 2 purple workers, and 1 yellow worker. What can we do with these? We could build on the wall and the sippy with the resources that we have, and that would earn us another yellow worker, which we would be able to use over on the citizens track to get perhaps another worker or a resource. And that's probably the direction that I'd go at this point. So I'll return this resource to the general supply, and I'm going to fill in this wall icon. That earns me a yellow worker. I'll place that on my player board. I'm looking around and seeing that I won't be able to use my purple workers for anything except mining unless I earn another blue worker to use it in combination with my purple workers. So for that reason, I think I'm going to use my purple workers this year just for mining. I just turned 1 in, and I'll take this first space. I'll turn in the second one and fill in this second space, and that earns me a resource production and another resource. So once I fill this in, I will take both of those. So next year I'll get 2 resources, and I get a resource now. I'll use the resource I just gained to build on the sippy. Now we're going to move over to the citizens tracks, and I know for sure that I need to build the market to work on my collected goods. And that will earn me another purple worker that I can't really use right now. I know for sure that I need to work on the traders citizen track because I have in-game points that are going to come from the market, and I need to make it to the 4th banner there in order to even build the market. So I'm going to turn in a yellow worker to start that, and you start on the left going right because these are tracks. That earned me a purple worker. Place that on my mat here. And for my last yellow worker, I think I'm going to start working on my performers track because that will earn me a blue worker right now, which I'll be able to use with my extra resource and purple worker to build my theater. So I'll turn in this yellow worker, fill in the first space on my performers track, take a blue worker from the pool. And then I'm going to build the theater since I made it to the first banner on the performer's track. That requires a purple worker, a blue worker, and 1 resource. And since it is now constructed, I can fill this in and earn 1 renown. I'll fill in the first spot on my renown track. Now I have 1 resource left. I cannot use it to build on my wall or sippy because I haven't built the fort up that far yet. So I'm just going to use it for the theater. I can turn in 1 brick once per round to put on a show. I can only do this first one right now because I only have 1 on my performer's track, but that earns me a spot on my trader's track, which I know I need later, so I'll go ahead and turn that in. This is the first year, so I'll put a 1 in this number column, color this in, signifying that I took it, and fill in that space, the second space on my trader's track. We're at the end of the year now because I don't have any workers or resources left. So all that there's left to do is resolve our first attack. We do that by flipping over the first fate card, and it looks like it hits to the right, which isn't great because that's the only cohort that I had left unprotected. So we take a look over on the gray banner of the current year that we're in to see how much disdain is possible to be earned. This is telling us that it's possible to earn up to 1 disdain or 1 valor if we fail to block that many hits. And we did, so we're going to earn 1 disdain right now. We mark our disdain by just completing this dotted line to form a circle on this disdain track. Just put it up in the top left. If we're able to go to the bathhouse and earn some of this favor to wash away that disdain, then we'll color it in and it won't affect us negatively at the end of the game. But as of right now, we are going to lose 1 point at the end of the game for that disdain. That card is discarded. We won't be using it again. And we're ready to set up for the next year. To start the next year, we just reveal a new fate deck from the top of the deck, and then everyone would take these workers and resources and place them on their player mat. They'd also get any workers or resources from resource production, hotels, workshops, or attributes from roads. We're going to get 2 resources from that. And we need to draw 2 cards from our personal deck and decide which one we want to make a path card and which one we want to make a prospect card. We've got planner and trainer here. Completed citizen tracks for in-game scoring or total gladiator strength for in-game scoring. The patterns are the same, and the trainer card will give us a resource instead of 2 workers. I almost never go for gladiators, so I'm going to use this as my prospect card. And I'm going to go ahead and slide the planner under the second year for a path card. We'll reveal 2 new cards from our AI decks and grab the resources and workers shown on our prospect cards and put those on our player board, and we're ready to start taking actions. This year, I think I should send a diplomat out for the right cohort since I failed to get that protected last time. And we have drawn a couple of right arrows, but I know that there are more in there. 2 is not enough to make me feel safe. So I'm gonna get straight to work on my patrician's track right now because I need to get to the first banner to send out our first diplomat. So I'll turn in a yellow worker in order to fill in the first space on this track, and that earns me a resource. Then I will go over here to this diplomat spot, and in order to send out a diplomat, I need 1 purple worker, 1 black worker, and 2 resources. Return those to the general supply. And you earn 1 valor. Fill that in here and fill in the leftmost space on your valor track. Then you also get 2 favor that you can use during the attacks on a cohort of your choice. Left, center, or right. I'm choosing right this time. And just as a reminder, you could not choose any direction more than once. So now I feel like my cohorts are reasonably well defended for this attack that's going to be happening. We can see under the second year on the easy mode, we're going to be drawing 2 cards for this attack. Hopefully they go in different directions, because we are not really close anywhere to getting more of those red symbols. Now it looks like I'm going to need to build on my fort so that I can keep building on the wall in Sippy. So I'll go ahead and turn in 1 blue worker in order to do that and fill in the leftmost space on the fort track. And I'm noticing that if I don't build my medium granary, I won't be able to use all of my purple workers for mining this turn. So I may as well build my medium granary now. I'll turn in a resource, a blue worker, and a purple worker, as stated down here. And since I have already filled in this space with the orange banner, I'm allowed to do that. So I fill that in, signifying that my medium granary is built. So if I earn any more purple workers throughout this year, I'll be able to mine and do mining and foresting further along this track. Then I'm going to use my last 2 purple workers to do mining and foresting. I just don't really have anywhere else to put them. I'll use 1 resource for the wall. And it looks like I'm going to have to discard 1 resource to the general supply at the end of this year because I do not see anywhere else to use it. And that's what we'll do, and we'll resolve the second attack. This time we're drawing 2 cards as indicated on the second year in the green banner. 1 to the left and 1 to the center. I managed to block both of them. That means I earn 2 valor, 1 for each blocked attack. I'll take that right now. And this second valor that I filled in here earned me 1 black worker that I can use during the 3rd year. And that's that. We're ready to roll into the 3rd year by flipping over the top fate card and collecting our workers and resources. We also get our resources from resource production. I haven't built any hotels, workshops, or roads yet, so no extra workers or attributes yet. Draw the 2 cards off of your personal player deck. We drew Forager and Architect. We're already close to earning 1 victory point under resource production on Forager because we have 2. However, if we use Architect as a prospect card, are we going to use all of those resources? I discarded a resource last round. But Architect has a really good pattern for scouting. Okay, I'm going to go with Forester as a path card and Architect as a prospect card, and we're just going to try to use those resources. I'm just going to have to be smarter this time. And flipping over the cards for the AI deck. I think this round I'm going to focus on building up my fort so I can work on my Sippy and wall, because there's a lot of cohort spaces to be had pretty soon on these, and I want to use up my resources without wasting them at the end of the year this year, because I have PTSD from year 2. I don't like wasting resources. So first thing we're going to do is discard 1 blue worker and fill in this leftmost space on our fort track. That also unlocks this second orange banner, meaning we can now build our small hotel, and that will earn us a yellow worker right now and use 1 of the resources that I'm worried about wasting at the end of the year. I think I'm going to do that right now. So purple, blue, 1 resource. We get to fill this in, indicating that next year and all the years after, we're going to get 1 yellow worker just for building this small hotel. And we'll fill this in and earn ourselves a yellow worker. I'm going to immediately turn that yellow worker in to fill in the leftmost spot on the trader's track, because that earns me a blue worker, since I just used the blue worker that I had here in order to build that small hotel, even though I was just talking about filling in my fort. So this blue worker I just earned is going to be used right away to fill in the next spot on my fort, which earns us a yellow worker right away. Now I'm also going to start working on my wall. One resource will earn us a yellow worker. And one more resource is going to earn us a renown and one space on one of our cohorts. So fill in the leftmost space on your renown track, and I'm going to put the cohort symbol on my left cohort. I could also build on the sippy, but it's not going to give me any immediate benefit. So I'm going to hang on to that resource for now, and if I don't have anything to use it on later, then that's what I'll use it for. But I am so close to being able to build my market that I really want to do that right now. So I'm going to use this yellow worker to get up to the 4th banner on my trader's track. And now I can build this market. I would need a blue worker and a purple worker and 2 resources. I have the resources and the purple worker, but not the blue worker yet. So how can I get a blue worker? I'm going to think about both of these things while I start discarding my black workers to work on my wall guard a little bit. There's one and there's a second one which will earn me a discipline. I'm so close there to getting a blue worker. Ooh, I could also turn in a yellow worker here to get a blue worker. That's what I'm going to do. On the first spot on my apparatus track, that earns me a blue worker. And now I have enough to build my market. 1 purple worker, 1 blue worker, and 2 resources. That earns me a renown. And I can officially start collecting goods. Ooh, filling in this renown spot earns me a yellow worker. I am just chock full of civilians now. We need to do some touring or something. Ooh, if I use one of my civilians right now on the trader's track, it'll earn me a resource and I can immediately trade for a good. And my goods are wide open right now, so I wouldn't even need to trade with an AI deck and make my attack any worse at the end of the year. So that's what I'm going to do. Here goes that yellow worker to fill in the leftmost spot on the trader's track. Grab that resource, and then I'll immediately turn around and use that resource to collect this good here. That puts a 2 there. And since I'm already up on the 5th spot here, I could also collect these numbered goods if I was willing to risk having a more intense attack. Either way, the first unique number that you collect earns you 1 renown, and I haven't collected a 2 yet, so I get 1 renown for that. And I have 2 yellow workers left that I can use to further myself on any of these civilian tracks. And if I go on the patrician's track with both of them, then I could get another worker that I could use on my wall guard to add another defense to my center cohort. So that's what I'm going to do. There goes 1 yellow worker to fill in the 2nd space on my patrician's track. There goes a 2nd to fill in the 3rd space. And I'll grab 1 black worker that I'm going to immediately trade in for the wall guard to earn this cohort. And I'm going to use that on the center cohort. And that's the end of the 3rd year. This year we're going to draw 3 cards for the attack, but we can still only earn at most 2 valor or 2 disdain. So let's see what happens. Oh, the center one blocked there. Ooh, blocked there. Blocked there. Perfect. So since we blocked all of the attacks, we earn 2 valor as shown on that gray banner. Go ahead and fill those in. It's time for the next year. Go ahead and flip up a fate card and gather your workers and resources. We have 2 resource production still, and we also get a yellow worker for our small hotel. Let's draw the top 2 cards from our personal deck. We drew Pontiff and Defender. Build temples for Pontiff on path card scoring, and for Defender path card scoring it says completed wall sections. We already have a wall section completed, so I am very tempted to take that. Oh, we've already collected a 2 on the goods though. we're going with Defender for the Path card and Pontiff for the Prospect card. So I'll go ahead and take my 2 purple workers. I'm thinking about it, and I will just risk it and trade with the AI decks this round in order to get some unique goods. Because I'm already going to get a point for this, and it's kind of hard to score points on these path cards. I need 4 collected goods in order to score 1 victory point on that merchant card. I'm going to go ahead and trade with both of the AI decks in order to collect some unique goods. The green AI deck has a 1, so I will put that in my next available 5. My next available market spot. And since that's a unique number, my second unique number, I earn 1 renown. Then I'm also going to trade a resource on this line that also has a 5, and I'm up to the 5 on my trader's track, to the blue AI deck, and he has a 4, so I will write a 4 there, and that is my 3rd unique number, so I still get 1 renown for that, and it earns me a yellow worker. Next, I think I'm going to finally get the 3rd resource production by turning in a purple worker and mining. We have built our medium granary, which is what we need to do to mine past this first line here. So I've turned in my purple worker, I fill in this space, it earns me a resource production and a resource immediately. And I want to use the resources that I have to get some more points on my sippy and my wall. I'm super close to getting some icons to color in some more sections on my cohort. And we are going to be drawing at least 6 cards during this attack because I have 1 resource on each AI deck and we're drawing 4 cards for the attack anyway. So this is going to be a pretty intense one. However, if I want both of these symbols, I'm going to need to turn in a total of 5 resources and 3 blue workers. We might be able to get there. Oh, I can also turn in black workers to work on the fort. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is turn in my 2 black workers to go to the wall guard because it's going to earn me a discipline and get me another blue worker right away. Plus I have a card for a completed wall guard section, so that's going to score me in game points. So that covered up a discipline icon, so I cover up the next space on my discipline track and gain myself a blue worker. Now I want to use both of these blue workers to go to the fort. I'm unlocking my 3rd orange banner, which would allow me to build a small workshop for 3 resources. Then I'm also going to use this 2nd blue worker for this next spot on the fort track, which earns me a yellow worker. Now I'm going to turn in the resources I have to fill in my sippy and wall sections. There's for the sippy, and you do not have to do this in order. Honestly, I might skip it if I wasn't so close to getting that. There's a section on the wall that earns me a yellow worker. Here's another section on the wall. So I need 2 more resources to get those babies filled in. And we're going to get them. We are going to get them. I'm going to turn in a yellow worker for the patrician's track. That earns me a renown. I'm going to turn in another yellow worker to get another resource and fill in the 5th spot on that patrician's track. I'm going to use another yellow worker on the patrician's track to earn another renown by filling in the 6th space on that track. And I'm going to turn in another yellow worker for the patrician's track to fill in the 7th space and earn a black worker. Now I'm going to use this black worker I just earned on the wall guard to earn another cohort symbol and fill in the 3rd space of my left cohort. That also earns me a discipline. And I need another blue worker to fill this in order to use my resource on either of these. So I can get a blue worker on this 7th space of my trader's track, and I will get there by trading in 1 and filling in the 6th space, trading in another and filling in the 7th space. That earns me a blue worker, which I'll immediately turn in and fill in this big space on my fort track. That earns me a discipline. And now I can turn in my resource to fill in the leftmost space on my wall. And that also earns me a cohort icon, which I'm going to use for the center cohort, which earns me a discipline, which earns another blue worker. That felt like a lot of stuff, and that was really fun. Now what can we do with our remaining purple and blue workers? I think I'm going to just go ahead and use them for mining and forestry and on the fort to get myself set up to be able to make some actions in the next turn. So there goes the first purple worker on the leftmost space on my mining and forestry, second purple worker, and the blue worker will fill in the first spot on this middle section of my fort track, and it earns me a yellow worker. I'm going to spin this yellow worker to fill in the 8th space on my trader's track, which will earn me a renown, which will earn me another yellow worker that I can use to fill in the 9th space on my trader's track and earn myself a resource. If I fill in one more trader's track, or if I fill in one more citizen's track, I'll be able to get 1 victory point from my planner path card. And now I can use this resource to fill in this icon on my sippy track, which earns me another cohort, and I'm going to start filling in my right cohort. Now we're ready for this epic battle. We're drawing 6 cards, which I'm really nervous about. Okay, let's see what happens. Blocked. 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 Ooh, I'm nervous. One more. Ooh, I didn't block one. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, so what we do now is we basically subtract the number of hits from the number on this gray banner, and we get that much valor, but we lose the disdain for the hits that we let through. So we let 1 hit through, and if we subtract that from 3, there's still 2 points left that we can earn valor from. So we'll earn 1 disdain and 2 valor. That also earns a black worker that we can use in the 5th year. And all of these cards are discarded, and we're ready to set up for another year. Flip over the top card of the Fate deck and collect all of your workers and resources. What do we have on our sheets? We've got 3 resource production and a yellow worker. All right, 2 more cards from our player deck. We've got Ranger and Vanguard. Ranger says we'll score points for completed scout columns, of which we have 0 right now. And Vanguard, we will score for completed wall guard sections. Oh, I'm seeing now that I read Defender wrong last time, but we still have completed wall sections now, so we're still going to score for that. I think I'm going to select the Vanguard card as a path card because we're already going to earn a point for that. And this is a really good scout pattern if we do any scouting this round. We get 1 black worker from our prospect card and flip over the AI cards, and we're ready to get started in our second to last year. I'm itching to just go ahead and complete this wall guard section because we have the workers that we need, and that'll earn us a 2nd victory point at the end. So that's what I think I'm going to do right now. Turn in 1 black worker, fill that in. 2nd one, that'll earn us a discipline. Fill that in on your discipline track. And then the 3rd one. And that also earns us a spot on our cohorts. I think I'm going to put it towards the right because we haven't drawn many cards for the right. Now, if I want to go past this line in my wall guard, I'm going to need to build this large granary, and we haven't even made it to the orange banner on our fort yet. So I'm gonna have to make sure that I do not cross this line on mining the wall guard or anything. But we can go ahead and turn in some purple workers to fill in our mining and forestry track. Just in this middle section, earn us another resource production and a resource. The amount of blue workers we have is just a sad, sad time right now. So I'm going to turn in 3 resources and build our small workshop. We've made it past this orange banner on our fort that allows us to do so, so we can fill this in. So next year we'll be able to collect a blue worker, and we'll get one right now. On our prospect card, there's a unique numbered good that I want to take advantage of, and we have completely filled in our trader's track, so we are able to do so by trading in 1 resource and putting a 6 right here. That's our 4th unique good, and it earns us 2 renown. And we finally get 1 victory point from our first path card. I think I'm going to go ahead and turn in my blue workers to fill in the next spots on my fort track. I made it to the 4th orange banner, and this 2nd blue worker will earn me another yellow worker. We have a lot of yellow workers, so I think I'm going to start trading some in over on this priest track so we can build some gardens, because those just let you mark off so much stuff. Turn in the first one, that earns us a purple worker. Turn in another one, and that earns us nothing. We need to get all the way to 4 in order to even be allowed to build the small gardens. So I'm going to go ahead and turn in all of my yellow workers to get there. And we get a piety on the 4th one, our first piety of the game. Now, in order to build the small gardens, I need a blue worker, a purple worker, and a resource. I do not see where I could quickly get a blue worker. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the forum and trade in 2 of the same worker to get 1 different worker. I'm going to trade in 2 purple workers to get 1 blue worker. I'll fill this in to signify that I've used this, and you can only use the forum once per year, so I'll also write the year number over this number sign to signify that I've already used it in the 5th year. Now I have everything that I need to build the small gardens. So I'll turn in a blue worker, a purple worker, and a resource, and build the small garden. It's hard for me to remember this entire row of stuff, so I'm going to fill in everything over here first and then color this all in. So we get a piety. We would get 1 on our trader's track, but that's already full, so we lose that. We get 1 on the performer's track, so we'll fill that in. And we get 1 on the priest's track, which earns us a purple worker. I am going to use our last black worker here to go on a scout mission. We've already made it past the 2nd banner on the patrician's track for the first scout, which is required for the first scout mission. And I turn in my black worker, so we color that in. And I'm going to use my pattern since I returned our worker to the general supply, and you're allowed to rotate it any way you want, and I want to put it this way so that we can earn 2 resources right away for this. Then I'm going to use those resources to fill in these 2 spots on the wall. It'll earn us a renown, which earns us a yellow worker. And then the 2nd resource will earn us another yellow worker. Next round, I want to build the baths so we can try to get rid of some of this disdain. I really should have built them this round because we're only going to be able to get rid of 1 disdain next round, but it'll still be worth it to not lose 2 points. So I'm going to turn in a yellow worker to fill in this 2nd spot, and I'll turn in the 2nd yellow worker to fill in the 3rd spot, which earns us a black worker. With that worker we just earned, I'm going to go on another scouting trip. We're past the 4th on the patrician's track, so that's fine. We'll fill in the little horsey icon to indicate we took that one. I'm going to use my same pattern, and I'm going to use it this direction now to earn 2 resources, but also to fill in a row, which earns us a valor. So here are the 2 resources we covered up, and here is the valor that we just earned. And we can use the resources we just earned to fill in some sections of our wall and sippy, which earn us another yellow worker. Which I will use on the operator's track to earn a discipline. And I'll use the last purple worker on our last available section of mining and foresting. That's the end of the 5th year, and we're ready to resolve another attack. This one is going to have 6 cards. Whew, let's see what happens. Ooh, that's the first one to the right, and it's blocked. Middle. Right, blocked. Ooh, I'm gonna have to use a favor to block that, but that one will be considered blocked as well. I'll go ahead and color in the favor that I'm gonna use for that right now. 2 more cards. I'm gonna have to use my second favor. One more card. Whoo! Blocked. Okay, so we managed to block them all, even though I had to use all of my favor to do so. But using favor does not negate that you blocked it, so I earn all of the valor from that. 3 valor. And I earned 1 worker by covering up those spaces on my valor track. All right, time to start the final round. Go ahead and flip over the top card of the deck and collect your workers and resources. I am going to get 4 resources from my resource production plus a yellow and a blue worker. All right, time to draw our last 2 cards. We've got Aristocrat and Engineer. Ooh, we'll get 2 victory points for having 2 disdain at the end. I have not built any of my large buildings. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is put the Aristocrat in the path card spot, since I have disdain, and we'll see if it gets washed away, and we'll make the Engineer a prospect card. It's too bad that that's not a unique good number for me. Okay, so we will grab our blue worker and resource and flip over our next AI cards and get to work on this final year. Straight away I'm building the bathhouse to get rid of this disdain. So I need 2 purple workers, 1 blue worker, and 2 resources. And the baths are built. That earns me a renown. And I want to use a resource to take a bath right now. You can only do this once per year, so put your year number over the number sign and cover up the thumbs up sign. And that allows you to fill in 1 of your disdain. And now I only have 1 disdain, so I'm back down to losing only 1 point. Now, in order to get scored on my planner card for completed citizens tracks, I need to complete 2 to even get 1 point. So I'm going to use my last 2, or my 2 yellow workers, to fill in my patrician's track. The 8th spot gets me a renown, and the 9th spot will earn me a resource. So now I definitely have a point for the planner card. Now I want to focus in this area because I need these cohorts protected. Ooh, or should I send a mission out to one? I think the first thing I'm going to do is send out a diplomatic mission for the center cohort, and then I'm going to focus in this area to fill in the left cohort. And that's how I think I'm going to spend my final turns here. So we need 1 purple worker, 1 black worker, and 2 resources for a diplomatic mission. We'll get 1 valor for that. Ooh, which earns us a worker. We also get 2 favor that I'm going to assign to the center cohort. And then I'll start turning in blue workers to work on this fort so I can eventually get to working on the wall and sippy. Here's another blue worker for the second spot on the fort, which earns us a yellow worker. Here's one resource, which fills in this big spot on the wall and earns us a renown and a cohort icon. The renown gets us a yellow worker, and we'll place the cohort symbol in our left cohort. I also want to fill this in so I can fill this spot of my sippy in. So here's a blue worker for that spot on the fort track. And it's connected to my sippy, and I do not have to fill in the wall before my sippy. So there's that, and there's that. So I can get one more space on my left cohort and one more space on my Valor track. I feel pretty well defended there. Since we're going to be drawing 8 cards, hopefully I'll be able to block all of them. The right one looks a little weak, so if I fill anything else in over here, I will definitely be taking something on the right cohort. But before we decide on that, what else can we score on before the end of the game for sure? Well, I think I'm going to use my yellow workers to go on the apparatus track because it's going to earn me a blue worker and then a discipline. No, let me turn that in. And that discipline earns me another blue worker. And I'm going to use this black worker to use my scout pattern to earn myself a resource over here. And if I do that one more time, I can fill in a row to earn a Valor. Just trying to get some points here at the end since we're going to be scoring soon. I'll turn this in to fill in this last section of my fort in the middle section here. That earned me a discipline and a cohort icon, which I'm going to put in the right cohort and earn myself another discipline. Then I'll use this last resource to fill in one more spot of the wall track. And it looks like I might not be able to use this final blue worker. I can't send him to the training grounds because I can't work on the wall guard any further because I've not built my large granary. So that looks like that's where it ends. This guy goes back to the general supply. And now we're ready to draw cards for our final battle. Blocked. We're drawing 8 this time per this green icon on the 6th year. Blocked. 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 Yep. Okay, we're at 2, 4, 6, 7. One more card. And it looks like we blocked everything. So we're super victorious in our final battle, and that earns us 4 Valor. This second to last Valor that we just got also earned us a discipline. I'm not even bothering to collect the workers that I covered up on the Valor or discipline track because I'm not going to be able to use them since this is the end of the game. And it's time to do our final scoring. You do all of the final scoring on the left sheet. However, your path cards are going to be pointing to things on the right sheet, so we still need that handy. The attribute tracks are easy to score. You get the points for whatever red banner you made it to on those tracks. I made it to 15 on Renown, 2 on Piety, 18 on Valor, and 12 on Discipline. Now we get to score our path cards. I get 1 victory point for collecting 4 goods at the market. I have 2 completed citizen tracks, so I get 1 victory point there. I made it to 4 resource production, so I get 1 victory point for making it to 3 on Forager. I have 1 completed wall section, so that's going to get me 1 victory point. And I have 2 completed wall guard sections, so that gets me 2 victory points. And I do not get anything for final disdain. So I earned 6 points total for my path cards. And I ended the game with 1 disdain, which loses me 1 point. Let's add this all up here. And I got 52 points. The player with the most points would win the game, but we played a one-player game this time, so we just compare our points to this chart, and we are a Premius Pilus. Pilus. I don't know how to pronounce any of these words, but we're pretty freaking average. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know down in the comments if you have any questions about Hadrian's Wall, or if there are any other games you'd like to see me play through or explain. See you guys again soon.